Hey listeners, welcome back to MATCH B2B Insights. I'm Brenda, here with Benny Fluman, and today we're jumping straight into one of the biggest challenges Israeli SMBs face when they try to scale globally. Benny, I want to open with a stat we keep running into. According to recent surveys, 94% of B2B marketers say trust is the number one factor in brand success, even more important than price or features. And honestly, we hear the same lines over and over. We don't know your company, we already have a supplier, or the classic one. Can you share some references before we even continue?
Yeah, Brenda. It's practically the international soundtrack for Israeli tech sales, right? I mean, we put so much juice into killer LinkedIn posts, write landing page copy, run campaigns, invest in webinars, and then, boom. We walk into a pitch in Berlin or New York and they're like, so who are you again? It's not always about your product or your offer. It's a trust gap, plain and simple. I've personally mentored a young startup, spent crazy money on these high-gloss paid campaigns, nice graphics, clever lines, but they just couldn't get in the door in Europe. Things only turned around when we put system into testimonials, shared client stories, got the founders to show up as real people, not just logos. That's what flipped the switch. Until then, the only thing the campaigns built was more digital dust.
And I think what's so important is that trust isn't this fluffy, nice-to-have thing. It's the OS running your entire go-to-market motion. If you don't have trust, everything else crashes. As we've said before, trust is not a campaign. It's the strategy. It underpins influence, growth, every single deal stage. We gotta stop thinking about isolated acts of trust and start building an always-on system.
So, let's break it down. All the research, the LinkedIn data, it boils to a 3-move playbook. Number 1, be category famous. That doesn't mean everyone knows your logo. It's about dominating a specific pain point. For example, ParaZero, they absolutely own drone safety. Nobody even blinks, they just call them when safety is at stake. That's niche, that's leverage. Second, social proof beats anything you or I say. 3 times more influential than price, according to LinkedIn. Israeli companies like Fort, Cybereason, Gong, they have libraries of real customer stories, founder videos, peer validation. Third, and this always brings out the chess nerd in me, score leads by value, not by volume. Brew and Sensi AI figured this out before the curve. It's not about how many leads you jam into the funnel. It's about which ones know your space, feel your pain, trust your results. Don't chase every pawn on the board. Protect your queen. Use resources smarter, not broader.
And let's unpack that a bit, because being category famous is such a shift for a lot of startups. You don't have to be a household name everywhere, just the first name for your segment's problem. You don't need 2,000 fans in Brazil if you can own 200 procurement heads in Berlin. And I keep seeing Israeli SMBs winning by focusing deep, not wide. The companies that consistently share peer endorsements and customer proof, not just adding a random quote here or there, but building that into their entire process, those are the ones actually getting called back.
Right, and to be blunt, flooding your pipeline with kind of interested leads is one of the fastest ways to burn money. Focus on quality. Who's reading your white papers? Who's actually asking about your clients? Who's already talking to your happy customers? That chessboard approach, Brenda, it works.
Okay, now let's get tactical. If you want to actually build trust, not just talk about it, here's what we're seeing. Insider credibility is absolutely key at the top of the funnel. That means your leadership needs to share knowledge, your tech team needs to publish deep dives, and you need to show real expertise early. Checkpoint and CyberArk do this incredibly well with their trust centers, walking the walk on certifications like SOC 2, GDPR, and IAP. Then you've got companies like Wix and Monday.com, who really thrive on compliance, localization, adapting to multiple languages, and building transparency for global audiences.
Totally, and it's about making those moves visible. Don't let your certifications sit in a drawer. Put them up front. Make them digital assets. Same for localization. If your landing page looks like Google Translate had a bad day, forget it. Adapt your message. Show understanding. And now, Brenda, here's a challenge to our manager listeners. If you had to pick one first actionable move, would you start by picking a niche and becoming its voice, launch a formal client advocacy program, or hammer out lead value metrics? Gong, for example, turned their customer story library into a full-blown growth engine. I'd love to hear from folks on what they'll start with tomorrow morning.
I love that. And if you're feeling stuck, start small. Share a real case, get a customer on a webinar, or just audit which touchpoints still feel generic. It all ladders up to trust.
Here's the piece a lot of firms skip. Trust can't just be a marketing surface. It has to go right into how your teams operate. Internally, that means radical transparency across every level, every department. You want your CS, product, sales, even finance teams to actually believe in and participate in the trust building plan. That's where trust becomes self-reinforcing.
And don't forget, training is essential. You need to instill ethical practices, customer-first values, make it clear that trust matters everywhere, not just when people are on stage. Layer in KPIs for trust, things like employee engagement, customer satisfaction. If it's not measured, it gets forgotten, right?
Exactly. The companies where everyone from the office manager to the CTO can explain the trust strategy, those are the ones with the real competitive edge.
Let's talk measurement. Trust isn't vague. You can track it. What are some of your go-to trust metrics, Benny?
Start with the obvious. NPS, customer loyalty scores, employee engagement surveys, but also trust-specific KPIs. How often do you get unsolicited referrals? What percentage of incoming leads say they heard about you from someone they trust? Build regular feedback loops with both clients and employees. The best companies aren't just looking for what went right, but for candid insight into trust gaps. Once you've got this data, use it to steer the ship. Invest where trust is weak. Double down where it's strong.
It turns trust into a concrete asset you can show to your team, your board, your next investor. It's not just a feel-good KPI. It's highly strategic.
One of the fastest ways to build credibility? Borrow it from partners with trust built in. Identify local or international partners who share your standards and values. Co-branded white papers, joint case studies. That's not just marketing fluff. It signals to the market that you're in good company and you play at their level.
I really like that idea, and it works both ways. Making sure partner training includes your customer experience standards keeps the signal strong wherever your name is attached. I've seen Israeli companies grow faster when their partners can tell the same trust story as the main office. Let's talk innovation, but not the Silicon Valley cliché. Actual customer-centric change. Collect customer feedback early, even before rollout, and let those insights shape your product or service. Customer advisory boards can be gold mines for real-time trust signals.
Case in point, Sensi AI and similar companies. They run pilot programs with core customers before any big launch. Iterate based on honest feedback, and only then open the doors wider. This approach minimizes trust risks and creates a "we're in this together" feeling that's impossible to fake. Here's where things get interesting. Technology as a trust accelerator. Blockchain for transparent supply chains. That's not future talk, that's present tense. AI-driven sentiment analysis can flag churn risk or PR issues before they even become a line item in Monday's board meeting. Personalized digital experiences, trust badges, tailored onboarding portals. This stuff actually signals you care about each customer's journey.
And these aren't just bells and whistles. The best companies are deploying them to reinforce trust at every digital touchpoint, especially across global clients who might never set foot in your local office. Back to culture, but zoomed out. Hire trust champions across departments. Make trust an org-wide value, not just the CEO's pet project. Run internal storytelling campaigns celebrating teams or employees who deliver trust-based results.
And for the skeptics out there, tie it to performance reviews. Link incentives to trust-building actions, not just sales or outputs. Rewarding what you want to see? Shockingly effective, but rarely done well.
All right, Benny, let's double-click on technology. What's your take on using advanced analytics and AI to map out trust signals and customer sentiment? I see companies getting way more proactive about potential trust issues, almost pre-crime for trust lapses.
Exactly. You don't wait for trust to break. You intercept warning signals. Digital platforms like blockchain provide transparent records. AI lets you know when sentiment dips or when someone's hesitating on onboarding. Also, tech like personalized digital badges and secure onboarding reassures nervous buyers, especially in global markets where face-to-face comfort isn't guaranteed.
And none of that works without the right data. You need a centralized dashboard to spot early warning signs, track trust across departments, and react in real time. Predictive modeling is no longer just for churn. Now, it's for trust erosion, too. Step in ahead of time and address even small cracks before they turn into rifts.
That's how you keep trust as a living, breathing advantage, not just a PowerPoint slide. Every team should see those metrics daily, not just once a quarter.
So you've built trust, you're tracking trust, now sustaining it. This is where companies slip. Things go quiet and trust decays. The winning play? Bake in continuous improvement. Review the trust dashboard regularly, invite honest stakeholder feedback, and encourage accountability at every level. And don't overlook the power of sharing your progress, warts and all, with both staff and customers. That transparency, it's sticky.
Personal accountability is key here, Brenda. Every employee needs to own some piece of the trust puzzle. Celebrate the stories where trust built the win, and be transparent about the misses too. The more visible that journey is, internally and externally, the more it reinforces itself. To put this all in motion, you've got to move beyond gut feeling. Dashboards that track NPS, employee engagement, and trust-related KPIs let you course correct instantly when something's off. Hold regular review meetings, cross-functional teams at the table. Go over the trust data and brainstorm new moves. And don't forget your feedback loops. Surveys and interviews with both customers and team members show you what's really working and which pain points haven't healed.
That constant reevaluation keeps you adaptable. Trust isn't a one and done. It evolves with your market and your people. All right, now for the competitive edge. Every SMB's secret weapon is knowing what unique trust drivers set you apart. Maybe it's a rare certification. Maybe it's influential partnerships. You have to spotlight those in your messaging, bake them into your content strategy, and get third parties to amplify your story. That's influence that actually moves markets.
And having external industry experts or local champions praise your approach. That can open markets 10 times faster than your own ad spend. If you're not leveraging that yet, start yesterday. The results can be dramatic, especially for Israeli firms competing on technical edge and trust.
Let's shift to digital innovation. AI and blockchain? Not just cool tech, but real engines for secure, personalized experiences. When you implement digital onboarding and verification, you make global deals simpler and more secure. Have you seen clients build confidence faster because they see your controls from the start?
100%, especially when you can show end-to-end digital touchpoints. From onboarding to compliance to feedback, it transforms how international clients perceive you. And if you have a real-time, data-driven trust system, you catch problems before they become churn or PR nightmares.
Here's the big question. Are you actually weaving trust into your core strategy? Or is it just extra credit for marketing? Set measurable, global trust goals in your annual plans. Get every function, marketing, product, sales, CS, aligned around a unified trust strategy so you're not sending mixed messages. Build your innovation roadmap around customer feedback, not fantasy features.
It's cross-functional or bust. The best Israeli companies, honestly, take this approach out of necessity and opportunity. We're small, agile. We can move trust objectives from boardroom to developer stand-up in a week. Large corporates take a year and 6 committees. That agility, major advantage. Trust champions aren't always the people on your payroll. Get leaders across the org to model trust behaviors. Train them in ethical decision-making. Put them in front of clients and teams to set an example. And don't stop with staff. Identify happy customers, industry influencers, or respected local figures who can publicly advocate for your company. Their word goes further than your ads ever could.
Leadership training on this stuff shouldn't just be a box tick either. It's about creating a culture where trust is contagious, internal and external. When your clients are willing to vouch for you out in the wild, that's how you know you've crossed the line from pitching to leading. Benny, before we sign off, how do you see technology scaling trust for SMBs, especially as they grow their presence abroad?
Customer data platforms that pull in signals from CRM, social, transactions. Now you've got a unified, real-time view of trust sentiment. Add in AI to spot red flags or even just softening engagement. You can head off concerns before they become objections. And don't forget, blockchain-based certificates or digital badges, they actually prove your compliance and security to the world, not just claim it.
It's like having a trust radar that helps you proactively manage your global reputation. And in a post-2025 market, that's non-negotiable for Israeli SMBs with big international ambitions. Let's wrap with the people dimension. Identify your internal trust champions, not just leaders, but anyone who can evangelize and help spread trust culture across the business. Invest in leadership programs led by managers who really embody your values. And make sure you're engaging external advocates, happy clients, industry voices, as trust ambassadors. Their recommendations ripple way beyond any banner ad.
It's such a simple idea, but it changes everything. When trust becomes everyone's job, not just the marketing teams, you build an organization that can win anywhere. It's what separates companies who have one good year from those who become household names in their category, even if they're not famous in the general sense.
And you know, we're going to keep these conversations going. Trust isn't a static thing. It evolves. And we'll be back in future episodes breaking down all the signals, warnings, and opportunities that come next for Israeli SMBs eyeing international growth. Benny, thanks for the insight as always. Ready for the next challenge?
Bring it on. Thanks for listening, everyone, and let's go build trust that wins.
See you in the next episode, folks. Bye for now.